long before the modern world learned to fear the silence of deserts. There was an empire that believed sand could never defeat steel. This was the Persian Empire at the height of its power, during the reign of King Cambyses II, son of Cyrus the Great. Persia ruled lands from the Indus Valley to the shores of the Mediterranean. Its armies were vast, disciplined, and feared. And yet, somewhere beneath endless dunes, an entire army vanished without a single scream being recorded by history. This is not a legend whispered by travelers. This is a real historical mystery described by ancient historians, debated by modern scholars, and still unresolved today. An army of 50,000 Persian soldiers marched into the desert. None of them returned. To understand how an army could disappear so completely, we must first slow down and return to a quieter time, a time when the world was ruled not by maps and satellites, but by belief, fear, and the harsh authority of kings. In the year 525 BCE, Cambyses had just conquered Egypt. The fall of Egypt was a monumental victory for Persia. Temples were seized, treasures taken, and the old gods were forced to bow to a foreign ruler. But Cambyses was not satisfied. Victory did not calm him. Instead, it fueled something darker. Ancient sources describe Cambyses as increasingly unstable, paranoid, and obsessed with control. Deep in the Egyptian desert stood the Oracle of Amun, located at the Siwar Oasis. This oracle was sacred. Even Egyptian pharaohs feared it. According to some accounts, the oracle refused to recognize Cambyses as a legitimate ruler of Egypt. Others say it openly insulted him. Whether insult or refusal, the result was the same. Cambyses ordered the oracle destroyed. To do this, he sent an army of 50,000 men from Thebes into the western desert. Their mission was simple: march across the sand, reach the oasis, silence the oracle forever. The soldiers began their journey under the burning Egyptian sun. They were experienced men, veterans of conquest. They carried weapons, armor, supplies, and confidence. At first, the march was normal. They followed known routes. They reached smaller oases. Water was found. Spirits remained steady. But the desert does not announce when it plans to kill you. According to the ancient Greek historian Herodotus, after several days of marching, the army reached a point deep in the desert. There, they stopped to eat. They rested. And while they rested, the sky changed. A wind began to rise. At first, it was only a breeze, nothing unusual. Then it grew stronger. The air filled with sand. Visibility vanished. The wind became a wall. A massive sandstorm, violent and endless, swallowed the soldiers whole. Herodotus writes that the army was buried alive, erased by the desert in a single moment. And that is where the story ends. No survivors. No messengers. No bodies. No weapons found by ancient travelers. 50,000 men simply vanished, as if the desert inhaled them and never exhaled again. For centuries, this account was accepted as fact. Then, slowly, doubt crept in. Modern historians began asking uncomfortable questions. Could a sandstorm really bury an entire army? Wouldn't something be left behind? Bones, shields, arrowheads. The desert preserves things. Why did it preserve nothing of this army? Some scholars suggested exaggeration. Perhaps the army was smaller. Perhaps it turned back. Perhaps it died of thirst over weeks, not in a single storm. Others argued the story was propaganda, meant to explain a military failure without blaming leadership. But the mystery refused to die. In the 20th century, explorers began searching the Egyptian desert for answers. Expeditions followed ancient routes. They studied wind patterns, dune movements, and geological formations. The desert, once thought static, was revealed to be constantly moving. Dunes migrate. Valleys fill. Entire landscapes vanish over centuries. Then, in 2009, an Italian research team claimed something extraordinary using satellite imagery. They identified what appeared to be buried structures beneath the sand. Long, straight lines. Shapes inconsistent with nature. Nearby, they found fragments, arrowheads, pieces of metal, human bones. The headlines were dramatic. Lost Persian army found. But history is never that simple. Other archaeologists urged caution. The artifacts could belong to traders, nomads, or smaller military units. No definitive proof linked them to Cambyses' army. No inscriptions. No mass grave clearly tied to 50,000 men. And so the desert remains silent. What makes this story especially haunting is not just the disappearance, but the manner of it. These men did not fall in battle. They did not know they were about to die. They were eating, resting, breathing. Then the world turned into sand. Imagine this sound. Not screams, but wind. The grinding of grains against metal. Soldiers unable to see their own hands. Commanders shouting orders that no one could hear. Men sinking as dunes collapsed round their legs. Armor becoming a prison. Breath filling with dust. And then nothing. Sleep comes quietly in the desert. Some historians propose an alternative theory. They suggest the army never encountered a sandstorm at all. Instead, they may have been ambushed by local tribes who knew the desert better than any imperial force ever could. The Persians, heavy with armor and unfamiliar with the terrain, would have been easy prey. Their bodies could have been scattered, their weapons reused, their bones claimed by time. Another theory suggests betrayal. that Egyptian guides intentionally led the army into death, either by false routes or by abandoning them entirely. There is even a more unsettling idea that Cambyses never sent the army at all, that the story was invented later to explain why the Oracle of Amun continued to exist untouched, that the disappearance was not physical, but political. Yet Herodotus was not known for inventing entire armies, and the oracle did survive. Cambyses himself would never return to Persia in peace. His reign ended in madness, rebellion, and death. Some ancient writers believe the gods punished him for his arrogance, that the loss of the army was only the beginning. Today, when the wind moves across the Sahara, it still reshapes the land. Dunes rise and fall like slow waves. Somewhere beneath them, history may be waiting. Helmets filled with sand, spears snapped by pressure, bones ranged not by burial, but by chance. Or perhaps nothing remains at all. Perhaps the desert finished its work too well, and that may be the most frightening possibility of all. An entire army, erased so completely that even proof of its death was denied, not defeated, not remembered, simply put to sleep forever.